couple things. First, today, obviously, you've experienced the glory of Linkerd Day. If you were at the Lightning Talks, Phil gave kind of a fun talk about some of the Gateway API stuff that we've been juggling earlier today. Tomorrow, I have yet another talk, which I really didn't want to do, but which I've been forced to do. So if you want to see me suffer, then just come on by at 3:15. A much more interesting talk will be Alex's talk, Museum of Weird Bugs, one of our longtime Linkerd maintainers here in this very room, Alex Long. She'll be talking about her favorite ways of suffering from 8 years of service mesh debugging. And there's some fun stuff in there. And then Thursday she'll also be delivering the maintainer talk, which will have a couple more technical details for like what's actually coming in 2.18 and what what's on the roadmap for 2.19. Where does Windows fit in? What about ambient mode? It's all going to be there. Go to that talk. And then in the expo hall today, of course, or tomorrow, we have the CNCF graduated projects have a little project pavilion. So come by, check out the Linkerd booth, and of course we have the Buoyant booth. Both will have lots and lots of maintainers. So for those of you who saw my talk today, probably this will be a little bit repetitive, but I'll try and make it interesting. Linkerd has been around for almost 10 years. We're going to have our 10-year birthday celebration next year, and we're going to have a massive party in Cancun. Everyone here is invited. All expenses paid. Just talk to the Linkerd maintainers at the Buoyant booth. Get your badge scanned to be registered for this free party. I put a picture here of a cockroach from ancient Egypt. So sometimes this is kind of what it feels like working on Linkerd. For 10 years, people have been telling us this project isn't going to work, and we're going to be crushed by Istio and crushed by Google and crushed by everything else. And yet here we are every morning. Still, you wake up and there's a cockroach staring at you, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. It's not a very exciting, not a very appealing analogy, but sometimes you just have to be the cockroach. But why? Why have we been successful? Well, for one reason, I think, which is simplicity. And I talked about this knitted castle versus Lego castle idea, and that both types of castles perform the same job, but one of them is easy to modify, one of them is easy to maintain, and the other one is not, right? The other one, everything is tangled together. And when you're designing software, it's very easy to end up with a knitted castle. It's very difficult. It requires a lot of discipline and forethought to end up with the Lego castle. Of course, that's the one that you want. As a user, that's the one that you want. One thing that I'm particularly proud of, besides the fact that the cockroach is still here 10 years later, is that we became a sustainable project last year. I think we're probably the only service mesh project that can truly say this. The company that employs all the Linkerd maintainers, Buoyant, became profitable by selling distributions of Linkerd, and I think that's really, really good for the Linkerd project. In the CNCF ecosystem, we maintain this polite fiction that we're all here for kind of an harmonious community, for the greater good of mankind. But the reality is everyone here is paid to be here. Everyone here is either here to learn about technology or to try and convince someone else to adopt or to buy technology. We're paid by our employers to be here. And all the technology that we're talking about today is used for commercial purposes in the vast majority of cases. So I think we can kind of if we want to be really honest and upright about ourselves, we kind of have to ask, okay, if I'm adopting an open source project, how do I know that project's going to be here for another year? How do I know it's going to be here in another 10 years? I think that's a really important question, especially as the macroeconomic climate changes, especially as the world around us changes. And so I'm very proud about the fact that we can say for Linkerd, there is an economic engine behind it that powers this project. And we've been able to add new maintainers and to increase project velocity in a way that's really true to the ethos of the project. I'll give you one little anecdote, which is for a while we sold support for Linkerd. So, it's just an open source project, and then, we'd sell support. And what we found is that a lot of people would have support for a year, and then they'd cancel it because they were like, well, it just works. We didn't have to call you. Why would we keep paying this? Well, so that was great from the product perspective. We're like, great. We made, we found a way to have this beautiful project that doesn't, require our users to, have to ask us all these questions all the time. Obviously, from the commercial perspective, that was terrible. So we had to come up with a better model. And I think I'm really happy with where we landed there. I think this is really unique in the CNCF ecosystem. We've been here for 10 years. I'm going to wrap up now. I think the goal for us should be to be here for 100 years. I think we've got another 90 years, at least directionally, that we should be focused on. I think that's the one, if you really want to build software that people can rely on, that's Linkerd's kind of core job almost, is providing reliability, then you have to be able to make some strong claims about how you're going to be here. And how you can truly rely on Linkerd. And so a lot of what I spend my time thinking about, for Linkerd is less the features and things like that. And it's more like, well, how do we, if you put your faith in us, right? You bring Linkerd into your ecosystem, you put yourself on the line for it, you fight for it at your company. How can we live up to that promise? How can we make you feel confident that we will be here, in another 2 years, another 5 years, another 10 years, another 90 years? And so I just want to say thank you, because it's because of you that we're able to do this. And my commitment to you, as kind of the person who's funding Linkerd, or at least figuring out ways to get the maintainers paid, is that we are going to do our best to be there for you, and we're going to listen to you, and we're going to make sure that when you have issues with Linkerd, or when you have challenges that Linkerd can't solve for you, that we're going to listen, and we're going to do our best to fix those problems for you. So thank you, everyone. Really appreciate not just your usage of Linkerd, but also you coming today and spending a whole couple hours with us at Linkerd Day. It's great to see people come out and say hi. And please do continue to talk to us at the booths and the project pavilions. There's a lot more conversations ahead of us. So thank you very much for attending the second ever Linkerd Day.